Imposter syndrome.
Doubting your abilities, you don't belong here. Even champions deal with this. You're in over your head. I'm not as good as they think I am. Perspective drives performance.
Woke up today, smile on my face, may not go my way, still got my faith, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
In the same way that I studied and I wanted to be successful in ball is the way that I want to be successful in finance, right?
I love that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Insure Legacy. I'm Tony the Tycoon Hills, former NFL athlete turned insurance professional, president of Stat Financial, and I'm excited you are here. On this show, we talk about building a lasting legacy in business by way of the insurance world. And today, we're tackling something that hits all of us at some point: imposter syndrome. Yes, even in insurance, that little voice can creep in and say things like, you don't belong here. You might know me as a Super Bowl champion or the big guy who used to protect quarterbacks, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys today. I'm gonna get open, I'm gonna get real. When I traded in my helmet and the pads for a suit and a tie, that didn't magically erase self-doubt, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it did the opposite. I'll never forget my first week after I retired from the NFL and I stepped into the insurance industry. I went from stadium lights and roaring crowds to this small, tiny office with a phone and a list of leads to call. And I remember holding that phone thinking, man, who am I kidding? I'm no insurance expert. I'm just a football player trying to play a businessman. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, that was my imposter syndrome talking. That imposter voice in my head was roaring, telling me I was too new, that I didn't know what I was doing. And basically, that I was just a football player pretending to be a businessman. If you've ever had that nagging feeling that your success isn't real or you haven't earned it, that any minute now, the entire world will figure out that you're a fraud, I can promise you, you're not alone, y'all. Imposter syndrome is definitely real. As a matter of fact, psychology experts describe it as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud, even when you've got the experience or the talent to back it up. It's that voice telling high achievers that they're not actually good enough, that they're just faking it and you're about to be found out. And guess what? It often strikes people who care deeply and they push themselves. So if you're feeling like that, take heart. It might mean you're stretching into your growth zone. Even champions deal with this. As a matter of fact, Venus Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time, admitted she felt like she didn't belong at times. She said herself, just believe in yourself, even if you don't. Pretend that you do. And at some point, you will. And I love that. Sometimes you have to move confident until your belief catches up with that movement. So what I want to do is I want to share a personal story here, something that I really haven't talked about much before. I want you guys to flash back with me to my first day in the NFL locker room as a rookie. Yes, this 10-year veteran at some point in time was a rookie. I was surrounded by legends that I grew up watching on TV. And look, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Part of me, I was starstruck and part of me was doubtful. I mean, look, that's Troy Polamalu, man. That's Hines Ward. That's Ben Roethlisberger, right? I was a little doubtful. I thought to myself, man, do I really belong here? What if I'm not as good as they think I am? Or, man, can I really compete with these guys? Guys that I grew up watching, Pro Bowlers, some Super Bowl champions in their own right. And matter of fact, look, in my first training camp, a veteran defensive end blew right past me on a play and smirked. Welcome to the league, Rook. And right then in my head, there it is. I started hearing that imposter voice. See, Tony, you're in over your head. This isn't college anymore, bro. You don't belong here. And I'm sitting on the bench feeling lost and feeling sorry for myself when another veteran offensive lineman came over to me and he told me, look, man, we've all had that moment, but you're here for a reason. So what I'm gonna need you to do, lock in, shake it off, line up again, and show them what you can really do. And what he didn't understand is that was exactly what I needed, a reminder that I did earn my spot. I might have felt like an imposter, but the reality was I had years of blood, sweat, and tears behind me that got me to that moment. And guess what? I leaned on that. I refocused on what I knew, my fundamentals, my training, my grit, instead of what I feared. Play by play, I proved to myself and to my teammates that I belonged. And eventually, I even won a Super Bowl with that team. I'm not telling you this, guys, to brag. I'm telling you this because when I later switched careers, that lesson came flooding back. Day one in insurance, dialing those numbers, dialing those leads. I had to remind myself, Tycoon, you're here for a reason. You prepared for this. You care about people and you can learn whatever you don't know yet. I had to translate my confidence from the field into the confidence in the field of insurance. You see, my NFL background became an anchor for me. Not because clients cared that I played ball, although we had some great conversations, right? But because the discipline, the perseverance, and the team mindset I learned in football were exactly what I needed in business. But still, I had to face that imposter feeling head on, just like I did as a rookie. So let's break this down a little bit. What is imposter syndrome? And why does it show up in insurance? Why does it show up in any type of business? Why does it show up in our life? Here's what I've discovered. My definition of imposter syndrome is that internal narrative that says, I'm not as good as they think I am. It's only a matter of time before everyone knows it. And the reality is it can hit you when you get a promotion, when you land a big client and think, you know what, this was just luck. Or when you step outside your comfort zone. In our business, maybe you finally got your license and you're selling policies, but deep down, just in your soul, you think at any moment that client is going to ask me something. I don't know if I have the answer to it. That's going to expose me. Or you've been doing this a while, but you're about to try a new market or a new product and think, man, who am I to do this? Others know so much more than I do. Does that sound familiar? Feeling like an imposter doesn't mean that you are one. I want to repeat that, guys. I want you to get this. Feeling like an imposter doesn't mean that you are one. Emotions are not facts. I'll say that again. Emotions are not facts. In reality, if you're conscientious enough to worry about your competence, it means you care about what you're doing and that you're doing it right. And that already sets you apart. You got to give yourself some credit for caring. Caring is good, but we can manage those fears in self-doubts. There's a great speaker that I like listening to. His name is Ed Milet. I'm pretty sure you heard of him. And he has a saying. He says, you will never outperform your identity. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll act like it and you'll prove yourself right. But when, not if, when you believe you belong here, you'll start to perform that way and you'll prove yourself wrong. You know me, we got to talk strategy, game plan. How do we beat this imposter syndrome and replace it with confidence and results? I like to use a framework that I call FLOW, F-L-O-W. It's 4 key areas to keep you grounded and moving forward. Find your foundation. You have to locate your market. You have to understand offers and operations. And most importantly, guys, we got to win through collaboration. We won't go super deep into each, but here's the high-level playbook. When it comes to finding your foundation, guys, this is all about remembering your why and building on who you truly are. Your foundation is your purpose and it is your identity. The reason you got into this business beyond just making a buck. For me, the foundation was wanting to help people secure their futures because I saw struggle growing up and I care about families. I was a part of struggle growing up. What's your reason? What's your purpose? Maybe it's creating financial freedom for your family, proving something to yourself, or serving your community that you love because it's poured into you so much. Whatever it is, own it, write it down, and keep it where you can see it. So that way, when that imposter voice says you're not good enough, your why will be right there to answer. I've got a mission here. I have a purpose here. I have people that I'm designed to serve here. So finding your foundation also means owning your story. Don't hide who you are, where you come from. Listen, that's your unique edge. Your experiences are what make you. Maybe you're a career changer like me, or you grew up without much financial knowledge and had to learn it all. Well, share that. I often tell clients a bit about my journey, not to brag, but to let them know, look, man, I'm human. I make mistakes and I genuinely understand overcoming challenges. And 9 times out of 10, that honesty is going to build trust. I want you guys to think about somebody like an Inky Johnson, a former athlete turned speaker. This is what he said. He says, perspective drives performance. If you don't value what you do, you won't do it well. If you view your past and your purpose as the foundation of your authority, you're going to perform with conviction. So start with who you are and why you're here. That's your foundation. And you want to know what? You're not building it on sand. That's why it's going to be rock solid. Next, you have to locate your market. You can't and shouldn't try to be everything to everyone, guys. See, imposter syndrome often gets worse when we're stretching ourselves too thin or talking to the wrong audience. Who are your people? Identify that market or your niche that you're uniquely positioned to serve, and then focus on that. Maybe you excel at helping young families because you relate to being a new parent. Perhaps you connect with school teachers or former athletes or small business owners. You gotta find your lane. When you stop chasing every possible client and then you zero in on the ones you understand best, two things are gonna happen. One, you're gonna become more confident because you do know your stuff for that particular group. And your clients are gonna get better results because you speak their language. So here's a practical tip. Spend time learning about your niche. If your market is, say, nurses, learn the ins and outs of their benefits, their schedules, and then their financial concerns. When you can say, hey, I specialize in helping clients just like you, that imposter voice doesn't have too much to say back then. You'll stand taller because you know you put in the work, just like I had to do in football. As a matter of fact, this is just like football. I wasn't trying to play every position on the field. I had my position and I studied it intensely. And in insurance, you have to find your position and you got to own it. We talked about the F, we talked about the L. Let's talk about the O, offers and operations. See, this is the nuts and bolts of your business. A big way to silence that I'm not professional enough, right? Worry is to get your business organized and deliver real value. Guys, I need you to be crystal clear on what problems you're going to solve for your clients and have a system, save yourself time, energy, and money, system for how you do it. When you know your playbook from the first client call to the policy delivery in the follow-up, you operate with a whole new level of confidence. I can be honest, early on, like we all do, I used to wing my appointments. I just rely on my personality and like general knowledge. And sometimes, guess what? It worked. Closed a couple of deals that way, but I didn't find consistency. There was something else that would happen too. Sometimes I walked out thinking, you know, a real pro would have handled that a lot better. So I created a simple playbook, like the playbooks I had in the NFL. I made a checklist for meetings, a needs analysis worksheet, a clear way to explain policies in plain English. I made complicated things sound simplistic. And then what happened is I created a follow-up plan for every client. Nothing fancy, just good basic systems, but basic works, guys. Once I started following a process, I felt prepared and professional walking into every meeting. That calm confidence rubbed off on my clients. They trusted me more because I was organized and I was also thorough and I knew what questions to ask. And guess what? Close rate went up, and so did the referrals. See, when you operate with excellence, clients can feel that. You stop worrying, am I doing enough? Because you know you have a high standard system that's backing you up. For me, I played offensive line. I played tackle. I knew that guard was going to always have my inside. He was going to have my back. That's what systems and processes can do for you. One more thing on this point. Focus on the value you bring, not just the products you sell. In a book that I wrote called Master the Market, I emphasize shifting from a product mindset to a problem-solving mindset. You see, when you truly solve your clients' problems in improving their lives, your work is going to have a purpose. And imposter feelings take a back seat. You're not thinking, am I good enough? You're thinking, how can I help this person? That mindset not only boosts your confidence, it boosts your income because clients can tell when you genuinely care about them, and also they can tell when you know your stuff. Finally, we get to the W. I always love the W. You gotta win through collaboration. Success is a team sport. One of my favorite motivational speakers, Les Brown, said, ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. That captures it perfectly, guys. You're stronger with the team. You see, imposter syndrome loves isolation. It wants you to think you're the only one struggling, that you have to do everything alone. So break out of that pattern. Build your squad of mentors and peers and partners. For me, getting around the right people, dude, I'm telling you, that was a game changer. I had to let go of that pride. I sought out mentors in the industry. I asked questions, I listened, and sometimes I even teamed up with fellow agents on tough cases. Every time I did, I learned faster. Confidence grew. I discovered that Even the top agents had their struggles early on. And even the top agents were still struggling with certain things. So see, realizing that was a huge relief for me. I wasn't alone after all, and neither are you. So you got to build your network. With that being said, join that agency training, go to industry events, get into our Facebook community, whatever it is that allows you to connect with others, that's going to share knowledge, share challenges, share solutions. And so when you collaborate, you turn my ability into our ability. You tap into a collective experience and you find who you have strengths with, where they have weaknesses, we can team up to help. Suddenly that big problem that made you feel inadequate becomes solvable because a colleague or a mentor has the insight that you need. Legacy isn't built alone. We're stronger together. Own your story. Focus on your niche. Sharpen your skills in your systems and lean on others. These are the antidotes to imposter syndrome and the building blocks of real success. I believe in you guys, and I'm not the only one. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself and go leave your mark. If you're ready to stop surviving in this industry and start dominating it, then it's time to move. Right now is your time. You don't need more motivation. What you need is direction. What you need is systems and alignment with purpose. See, legacy doesn't build itself, ladies and gentlemen. You build it when you follow the blueprint. So here is yours, all right? Back to my sweat towel. It's getting hot in here, guys. I'm dropping this hot fire, all right? Here's what I need you to do. First, grab your copy of my book, Master the Market, Unveiling the Secrets to Amplifying Value in Insurance. This isn't just a book, guys. It's your blueprint. The exact playbook I wish I would have had when I started. So if you go to statebooks.com, you can start your journey right away. We'll also have the hard copies coming soon on Amazon, but you can get your digital copy at statebooks.com. I'll have my people write it up top. Now, I also want you to tap into the Vault Weekly with me. Go to statebooks.com/insure. I don't call this a newsletter because it's not fluff. This is actionable mindset and business guidance designed to help you scale confidently. Built for real professionals, not pretenders. So we're going to have to up the game. That's okay. That's where we want to be. Next, I need you to join the movement. Listen, guys, Stat Market Masters Facebook group is popping. Surround yourself with agents who are building with legacy, not just chasing commission checks. They're asking questions. They're sharing wins. Plug into a network that's changing the game. Keep in mind, if that imposter feeling ever creeps back as you reach for new heights, guys, it's just a sign you're leveling up. Use that as fuel to keep growing, keep pushing, keep moving forward, keep growing. And remember, you do belong here. You really have what it takes. Now go out there and make it happen, all right? We got a deal? And I tell you what, let's go together. Because if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go farther, you go together. Listen, I want to thank you for spending time with me. Thank you, my friends, for Insure Legacy, guys, and coming and doing that with me, man. I really, truly appreciate that. And I hope this was encouragement. So until the next time, stay focused, stay driven, keep building your legacy. Run well, young lions. In lionesses, Tony the Tycoon. I'm out.